Hello, my name is Connor Myers, and this is my literature review on the effects of weight loss and muscle mass. So right here, just kind of going over the purpose of the literature review, kind of just from pre-knowledge over the subject, just to get an idea of what to look for. I look for kind of sources that study the effects of weight loss and muscle mass. So just kind of the overall effects of general weight loss on muscle mass. Then of course, I studied some of the effects of macronutrient content on muscle loss to weight loss ratio. So just kind of the overall what kind of macros will affect muscle retention and weight loss. Then I looked at the effects of a high protein diet combined with a hypocaloric diet, that being a low calorie diet, on muscle loss and weight loss. Then for added kind of review, I looked at training methodologies or methods that induce the best muscle retention during weight loss. So right now I'll just kind of go over some of the lit reviews that or studies I came across. Kind of the first one, and these are in no particular order. The study was on the effect of a high protein diet and resistance exercise on the preservation of fat-free mass during weight loss and overweight and obese, kind of older adults. So it was a randomized controlled trial. So pretty much it was a 10-week loss program, and all subjects followed a hypocaloric diet, and some of them were allocated to a higher protein diet, a normal diet, and then some with or without exercise resistance program 3 times a week. So as you can see here, there's some information over the group. Both the high protein diet and exercise diet did not significantly affect changes in body weight and fat-free mass and fat mass. But within the group, analysts showed that high protein in combination with the exercise significantly increased the fat-free mass even on a hypocaloric diet. So kind of with this, it is stated that the high protein diet, though lower than targeted, did not significantly affect changes in fat-free mass during modest weight loss. So with this just kind of states the reasoning with a hypocaloric diet that both a high protein diet with exercise would also help induce less muscle loss. So next up we have the weight loss without losing muscle mass in pre-obese and obese subjects induced by a high soy protein diet. So pretty much this is just a 6-month study, and all they pretty much did is they they gave these guys high soy protein diet with a low fat, and pretty much overall with the hypocaloric diet, their data kind of suggested that this kind of diet actually improved body composition in overweight and obese people, losing fat but preserving muscle mass. There we go again with the high protein. In our next study, kind of going over the effects of weight loss combined with exercise. Pretty much this exercise examined the effects of weight loss alone and in combination with even moderate aerobic exercise. So what it found is that diet-induced weight loss significantly decreased muscle mass in older adults. However, the addition of even moderate aerobic exercise to intentional weight loss actually lessened or attenuated the loss of muscle mass. So what is this saying? That pretty much the aspects of no cardio or no aerobic exercise during weight loss to preserve muscle mass is somewhat false, and that it actually did lessen the overall amount of muscle mass loss. However, it did not maintain it. Alright, so right here we're just going to talk about the increased protein intake that reduces lean body mass loss during weight loss in athletes. So pretty much this is what they did is they examined the dietary protein on lean body mass and performance during short-term hypoenergetic weight loss in athletes. So with this, they had 20 healthy resistant athletes, and they both gave them different diets, combining a regular 1 week mixed fed of about 50% protein, 100% of their daily caloric intake, followed by a second week of a hypoenergetic, so a 60%, containing either 15% the control group or 35% the high protein group. So pretty much they were testing on a number of tests, bench press, muscle endurance bench press. These kind of go over some of the how they analyzed some of the results, but pretty much the results indicated that the 35% protein was significantly superior to the 15% amount protein energy and protein intake for maintenance of lean body mass in these young healthy athletes during a short-term hypoenergetic weight loss. So just reinforcing the fact of increased protein intake and preservation of muscle mass. Right here we have the effects on high protein diets on fat-free mass and muscle protein synthesis following weight loss. So again, just another randomized controlled trial. Pretty much on this one, very similar. Some of them were given a much higher than the recommended dietary allowance, and then the others were given regular. And what they found is that they determined that consuming dietary protein at levels exceeding the RDA may protect fat-free mass during short-term fat loss. So right here, again, just reinforcing, it's a highly studied subject. This is a very interesting one, for they studied some of the psychological factors that they had for the weightlifters. So what they found was that the hypoenergetic diet, providing twice the RDA for protein, was actually more effective in retaining body protein and body mass than the higher carbohydrate diet. However, some of the things they studied is that however the lower carbohydrate requirements of this diet contributed to reduced muscular endurance in these athletes. So kind of calling upon a drawback of using this kind of diet in terms of performance. So this one right here is the lower extremity muscle size and strength and aerobic capacity decrease with caloric restriction, but not with exercise-induced weight loss. So what this found is typically is that with just caloric restriction, many of these tests that they did, such as VO2 and some of their anabolic effects with retaining muscle mass, actually decreased with just plain caloric restriction. But when it was exercise-induced weight loss, so creating a negative caloric balance with just weight loss, they found that the body actually increased in body mass and increased in VO2 max. So stating a reason that for not using a hypocaloric diet but actually losing weight through exercise could be the best benefit or bang for your buck in terms of maintaining muscle mass during weight loss. So right here, just again, resistance weight training during caloric restriction enhances lean body weight maintenance. So pretty much right here is the combined effects of weight loss and weight training on body weight composition. They took 40 obese women and randomly assigned to one of 4 groups on an 8-week weight loss study. So one they had was a control, diet without exercise, diet plus weight training, and weight training without diet. it was concluded that weight training results in comparable gains in muscle area and strength in the diet plus weight training, and also just the weight training without diet. However, adding weight training exercise to caloric restriction program results in maintenance of the lean body weight compared to the diet without exercise. So right here, this is just going to talk about how ingesting protein dose response promotes protein synthesis after resistance exercise in young men. So this pretty much right here, just going to go along with some of the methodologies we're going to use to minimize some of these things, is that ingestion of 20 grams of intact protein is more than sufficient to maximally stimulate muscle protein synthesis, and of course albumin protein synthesis. So this is another study done. This one's mostly on leucine-enriched nutrients and the regulation of mTOR, which is primarily the signaling pathway that promotes protein synthesis, kind of how it reacts. So here it says, this is kind of an overview of many studies. It's more of a review. So it says leucine and essential amino acids appear to stimulate human protein synthesis primarily by activating mTOR in combination with the resistance exercise in some case. So it may be a useful intervention to promote mTOR signaling and protein synthesis in an effort to counteract a variety of muscle wasting conditions, such as the following, as you see here, such as age or cancer or sarcopenia. So kind of with this, it's saying that leucine and resistance exercise is used for these muscle wasting conditions, henceforth can be used for necessarily a hypocaloric diet or a weight loss diet to prevent muscle mass loss. So after that, just kind of overall effect of weight loss on muscle mass. With all these, the literature concludes that caloric restriction typically leads to weight loss as well as possible muscle loss. Negative caloric balance is the primary contributor to muscle mass, or primary contributor to this. Muscle mass needs protein as well as a positive caloric balance to increase its size, and also furthermore it needs protein to maintain its size. And this, when weight loss is primarily done through caloric means, muscle mass is reduced. However, this does not seem to be the case when exercise is introduced into weight loss, or if it's a primarily exercise-induced weight loss. So kind of some of the minimization methods that we can do to kind of deter some of the effects of muscle loss during a weight loss kind of program. You know, eat a higher protein diet when on a hypocaloric diet for weight loss. Incorporate exercise, primarily resistance training, to decrease losses in muscle. Eating a protein diet throughout the day helps maintain a positive nitrogen retention and promotes protein synthesis throughout the day. So eating protein every 3 to 5 hours will help promote that protein synthesis. Also, maybe dosing some leucine throughout adds protein synthesis benefits without necessarily upping the total caloric consumption, which is important for weight loss. Then, of course, incorporating post-workout protein consumption to increase recovery and promote protein synthesis. So right here, most our minimization methods are going to be focused on incorporating higher protein and resistance training to try to minimize muscle loss. So kind of pros and cons of these methods. So of course, some of the pros: increased protein leads to greater muscle retention. Very highly studied and proven method to decrease fat-free mass loss, so decrease the amount of muscle we lose on a weight loss diet. And then, of course, protein can actually help with satiety, therefore helping you actually keep more full on a hypocaloric diet. Resistance training can be easier to maintain compliance rather than aerobic exercise. Of course, this goes back to some of the studies that suggest the best form of exercise to maintain muscle mass is resistance, which can be easier than just say you're run-of-the-mill on the treadmill, jogging, fat loss exercise. Then, of course, some of the cons. You're going to have to decrease your carbohydrate and fat consumption. As you increase your protein, these must decrease to coincide with your hypocaloric diet for weight loss. You're going to have decreased energy due to lack of overall carbohydrate consumption. Of course, as we talked about in one of the weightlifting studies, your workouts may suffer due to lack of energy from reduced ability to create ATP for your workouts. Then, of course, workouts cannot be done for long periods because A, your carbohydrate intake, and B, your fat intake is down. So it could lead to necessarily not a great caloric usage if you're trying to combine exercise as your primary mode of weight loss if you're combining using a high protein diet. Here's some practical recommendations I would make for someone. The person should first adopt a diet that will help put them in a caloric deficit. So to me, that's around 250 kilocalories per day. This would lead to a weight loss of at least half a pound per week, which is slow, gradual. Of course, you see right here the 7 times 7 diet days a week, 250 calories, 750, 3,500 equals 1 pound of fat per week. Once calories are assessed, protein intake should account for 1.5 to 2 grams per kilogram. So 100 kilogram athlete, 220 pound person would have anywhere from 150 to 200 grams of protein. So after protein is accounted for, adjust carbohydrate intake according to how that person feels, energy level, and kind of their goals for workout intensity. For example, if they want to do a high intensity training with their high protein diet, I would recommend a higher carbohydrate consumption while also decreasing fat intake. Then, of course, I think the person should maintain a resistance exercise program 3 to 5 times per week to help build and maintain muscle mass during this weight loss. Add a post-workout protein drink of whey protein to induce protein synthesis and prevent catabolism from workouts. Once all these are considered, I would actually say from some of the studies, some of these go back and forth, but applying leucine supplementation throughout the day and during meals to promote synthesis. Dosing seems to be very unclear in a lot of the studies, but typically a supplement will have a simple serving from 2 to 6 grams should suffice. Here are my references, all from journals.